Hi viewers, welcome back to Lit Delight. This video will enlighten you with a short introduction and summary of the story Iswaran the Storyteller. Before going to the summary, let's have a short introduction about the author R K Lakshman. In full, Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Lakshman. He was an Indian cartoonist, illustrator and a humorist. He was born on October 24, 1921 in Mysore, India, at the home of a headmaster. He was the youngest of six brothers and also had one sister. The famous writer R K Narayan was his elder brother. He loved to draw from a young age and could cover the floor and the walls of his house with the doodles. He spent a lot of time observing the drawings and illustrations in the magazines and would try to copy them. As he grew up, he started drawing caricatures of his father and teachers, much to the amusement of his siblings and classmates. One of his brothers, Narayan, was a budding writer, and Lakshman used to illustrate the stories his brother wrote. He was best known for his creation, The Common Man, and for his daily cartoon strip, You Said It, in the Times of India, which started in 1951. Now viewers, let's go on to the introduction of the story Iswaran the Storyteller. The title of this chapter, Iswaran the Storyteller, tells us that this story is about Iswaran. He is called the storyteller because as storytelling is an art, he is good at it. Iswaran uses special effects, does voice modulation, uses his body language to make the story realistic so that the listener, that is Mahendra, gets attracted and captivated in his story. The writer wants to highlight this quality of Iswaran, that he was so good at telling stories that they appeared to be real. His stories were a source of entertainment for Mahendra. Now, dear viewers, let's move on to the summary. Iswaran's story was told to Ganesh by Mahendra, who worked as a junior supervisor at different construction sites. As Mahendra was unmarried, he was able to live in the temporary shelters provided by the construction company. Iswaran accompanied Mahendra wherever he went. He was an advantage to him as he provided him company, cooked food for him, and even washed his clothes. Mahendra says that Iswaran would gather all the things required to prepare a meal within no time. Every morning, Mahendra would get ready, eat his breakfast, take his lunch along, and go for his work. In the meantime, Iswaran would clean the living place, wash the clothes, take a bath, eat his lunch, read his favorite Tamil story book, and take a nap. In the evening, Iswaran would entertain Mahendra with his stories. He had the art of storytelling as he would use his body gestures, facial expressions, and voice modulation in order to bring his characters to life. Even though the story seemed untrue, Iswaran narrated them in such a unique way that Mahendra listened to him with curiosity. Iswaran would start a story with an introduction. He would lay the background of the character, followed by the story. He described a simple incident in such detail, along with actions that would create suspense in the listener's mind. Once he told Mahendra the story of an elephant that had escaped from the jungle and entered the town. The beast reached Iswaran's school. As it destroyed the school property, all the students locked themselves up in the classroom. At that time, Iswaran was studying in one of the junior classes. He was watching the incident from the rooftop. He took a stick from the teacher and came downstairs in the ground. He walked towards the elephant as it threatened to attack him. Iswaran was not scared of it. He gathered all his strength and hit the elephant on its toenail quickly. This attack stunned the elephant. It fainted and fell on the ground. He did not complete the story and said that he was getting late for the dinner. He went to get the dinner, but Mahendra was curious to know what happened next. As Iswaran did not continue with the story, Mahendra had to remind him that the ending was pending. Then Iswaran said that a veterinary doctor was called. He brought the elephant back to the consciousness, and after 2 days, a mahout was called who took the elephant back to the jungle. Mahendra asked Iswaran that how did he manage to overpower the huge beast. Iswaran replied that he used the technique of a Japanese martial art which was either karate or jujutsu. He had read about it somewhere that the martial art was able to make a person unconscious by paralyzing the nervous system. Every day, Iswaran would narrate one or the other story which was entertaining for him and fulfilled the absence of a television in his living quarter. One morning, Iswaran asked permission to cook a special dinner as it was the day when they cooked a meal for the dead elders of the family. That evening, Mahendra enjoyed a tasty meal and complimented Iswaran on his cooking skills. As Mahendra was relaxing after the meal, to his dislike, Iswaran started narrating a story related to ghosts and supernatural powers. He said that the factory area where they lived was earlier a burial ground. On the very first day, he had seen a human skull lying around. He added that he was not afraid of ghosts and saw many bones and skulls. On a full moon night, he saw an ugly ghost of a woman who had a shrunken face, matted hair, and held an unborn baby in its arm. Mahendra was uneasy and scolded Iswaran for talking nonsense. He said that ghosts did not exist and ordered him to get himself examined as he thought that he had gone mad. Since that day, Mahendra felt uneasy and would peep out of the window in order to check the presence of any ghost around. One night, Mahendra woke up from his sleep as he heard someone crying. At first, he thought it was a cat looking for mice. As the sound became more harsh and deep, Mahendra could not ignore it and gave in to the desire of peeping out of the window. As he looked out, he saw the white moonlight and a dark shadow holding a bundle in its arm. As he saw the ghost, he started sweating, breathing heavily, and fell back on the bed. After some time, Mahendra thought that probably his subconscious mind was playing a trick on him and actually there was no ghost. He got ready the next morning and had forgotten the incident of the previous night. Iswaran greeted him and gave him his lunch bag. He said that a few days ago Mahendra had scolded him for discussing the ghost, but last night he saw it himself. Iswaran had heard Mahendra crying at night. It was confirmed that Mahendra had seen the ghost the previous night and it was not a trick played by his mind. Once again, Mahendra was frightened. He left in a hurry and resigned from job. He could not live at the haunted place for a single day. With this, the summary of Iswaran the Storyteller is over, dear viewers. And if you like the video, please pass your comments. Your comments are valid. And share the video. And let's meet with yet another video. Thank you.